That's interesting. So let's start again. Wow, for anybody who watches this, I didn't have the mic going. So I lost, a subscriber today. And it brought to mind while I was watching a Discord, or viewing Discord really, you reading through, that there's a lot of dead game talk. Now, straight up, welcome to Deep for Play. This is Epiousios. We do Pax Day, Pax Day. Yeah, there's been some plaques digging up on it. I don't know how Selena's doing, but I have a deep suspicion that it's mainly the most harvested areas. People who travel through them from dungeon to dungeon, they happen to be going through some very popular areas. If you have high-level minerals, the pure iron, or just plain iron, and just the best you can get out there. You're also going to get a lot of the other resources, right? You're going to find a lot of the plants and flowers and other things in that area. Plus, you're going to also be amongst baddies who have things you want when you're going for those metals. Those metals aren't always in the worst areas, but what is it? What do they call it? Anyway, the big strikes. Darn it, I can't come up with a name. The largest amounts are in the most dangerous areas. Typically, you could check that out. And Devleon could help you. I'm not Devleon. I have nothing to do with Devleon. Devleon doesn't even know I exist. But I know a bit of work that Devleon and whoever Devleon works with, hires, employs, engages, partners with, does the Hidden Gaming Lair, where you can find a lot of Pax Dei tools. You can also find a lot of Pax Dei tools on the Discord, though it might take a bit of searching. Look for Phoenix. He notes a lot of them. And often you'll see others noting ones around Phoenix's posts. Nasaman posted the other day on how while they were traveling from dungeon to dungeon, I believe in Selene, and I can't remember the western town they were traveling by, but that area is very popular in the metals. So you might say to yourself, why is it lagging? There's only, how many people are even on here? It must run terrible because the lagging is so bad. You are incorrect. You are incorrect because no, you don't know how many people are on. Now it is separated by 5 servers. You have the 2 North American, the 2 European, and then you have, well, the test server, of course, right? But then you have the one in Asia, which I don't know who plays that, but they're giving away, the last time I heard from Athena, that they were giving you 1,500 grace just to go there and put a plot down, so that's 3 months free. Also with these achievements, which people argue on and off with, whatever, they give you a year of grace free and a whole bunch of gold to play around with. That'll take you a while to earn that year. You could probably, I don't know if you could do it in a year. There are people who have probably nearly topped off that chart already, and we have only been going 6 months since, 9 months now. 9 months since full release. So, Pax Dei has an estimated total player base of around 220,000. That's the purchasers of the original base game. This is Copilot search. If you don't like AI, okay, cool. With roughly 8,000 active players at any given time. Play Tracker is where it, abstracted that from. The current and recent player counts, though. You see up on the top, I put Pax Dei total player count epic. And Copilot got that and said, okay, I know, people just look at Steam, right? Steam. Play Tracker's up there, playtracker.net, Insight Game 97988. That must be Pax Dei. 97,988 might be Pax Dei. Give you an idea of how tall a stack we're dealing with. So the live concurrent players, Steam, about 704 to 909 players are online right now. Is that true? Is that true? What's that GLP? So SteamDB. Yeah, you know, I could have links to everything, but yeah, but my unsubscriber, I'll tell you, I can only ever see 3 of my subscribers. The other 2 I could not see. One is my son. The other is a musical artist I like, and they sub to me. There's many I sub to, but they were so kind as to do that. You can launch it from here. Wow, I didn't understand that. So here we are. I think the reviews are going up. We got to check the bottom. 556 in game currently. Now, does that mean AI is wrong? Well, no, it means you need to check your stuff. Well, hold it. Here we go. So, over here, is it still, it says Steam. Steam charts. And, wow, we gotta yeah, the charts. Excuse me. So yeah, the top today on the 6th of August, this fine Thursday, slightly over cloudy and sunny here. Didn't get very high in temperature. It definitely got very high in temperature where my mother lives, and that's the only other. Man, if you're cooking in the heat, may the Lord bless you. You can see it's declining over this week. 1,057, and we are at current level at 565. I think I just grabbed there, right? Something like that. 565. I'll be fair, say it's 565. And so yeah, for it to report recently in today's past, most recent past, 700 and 900, which is just around there, right? Halfway. There's the mean, right? We were talking about means. You've heard about it in school. There, we'll get 800 for the mean. And, you know, whatever. There, you see? Same difference. And it says, all-time peak concurrent players, of course, was that past day. Well, that's the reviews. Excuse me. Nearly the same number. 1 year. So we have here on release, but that peak was back on early access. Back in early access. So let's not talk about that. Estimated. Maybe there was 7,000. Maybe it didn't count 34 of them. They just were too fast. So that 2,200, right? That is how many people have purchased. Yeah, without followers. I'm one of those. And the followers have gone up, which is interesting. But right, they have Play Tracker here. There you go. There's Play Tracker here. We can go right there to that. That's planned, by the way. So all-time peak concurrent players and the estimated total players. But estimated active players, players who have played in the last 2 weeks, Play Tracker estimates to be 8,000. So popularity score being a 1, is that even bias? Active in Pax Dei. That's interesting. Interesting info. The user interaction graph shows interactivity data up to 3 values. The first is played, which shows how many players have played the game for at least a minute. The second is active, which shows how many active players have played a game recently in 2 weeks. The last is perfected and shows how many players have completed all the achievements for this game, which is brand new, so of course that wouldn't be there. So we'll take that as a free one. So average total play time, 70 hours on people. The median total play time is 19 hours for the individuals who are playing. Estimated active players is 8,000 here. They have comparisons. That's locked. Purchase premium subscription. No. Concurrent players are showing the same type of graph up and down. They are trying to show a rise. Why it would be popularity over time is always interesting. Pax Dei's popularity has hardly subsided. But anyway, do you get it? They got enshrouded, right? 6% match. This is, of course, a New World. Can you still play this? Conan Enhanced, I used to play. Dune Awakening, Diamond Kim did that. I wonder if he got back to Pax Dei. And Throne and Liberty, people are still vomiting into their closed mouths over that. So, very interesting. I keep on bringing up New World. The popularity score is 12. I don't know how that is compared to 1. 40,000 estimated active players. Didn't they shut this baby down? Shows you how. I don't cheat. I don't mess around. Average achievements, average total play time for and median total play time. How does the average? Okay, see, this is why I say average and median and mean is all very interesting, right? So release date, original. So anyway, okay, that's not interesting. Do yearly achievement activity. Interesting. So I guess they haven't introduced any new achievements, and so there's only a few new players perhaps filling out. Okay, and concurrent players over July. Of course, this is the up and down of a nighttime. Look at the nighttime. It doesn't look like they've combined a U.S. and European bit, and the popularity over time is absolutely wonderful. So, well, I thought they shut this baby down. So it's still going. Hey, does this thing tell you what engine it's still running on? It is still running, is it? It would seem. That'd be a question to ask. Is New World still running? No, I really don't care. But I had heard that they were closing it down. Maybe they're just keeping it going. Maybe they're doing more things. No idea. This is not MMO news. Let's go, Johan. So, 8,000 concurrent players in the dark. About 8,000 players per month. Unique players. I guess that would be unique IPs. If you're playing on your laptop, and if you're playing on your PC, maybe you're two different things. I'm 7 different people. Oh, just realized I was responding to a message from 11 a.m. That always feels good. Hey, Oakberry. Right, that was way back there sometime. We saw him yesterday. Hope you Caresians, we're still working with that, are doing well this lovely night. That was 7:47. Doing fantastic. Back at you, sir. Yeah, I think I wasted my token. All good though. Right. I'm sure there will be more. Right. Do you try holding land, but then you don't know what to do with it? I just spread out half-built buildings, and I look like I'm, doing better. Look, it's not so bad. We're going to have walls and stuff like that. We're working on it. I'm in no hurry. If you're in a hurry, you're on the wrong channel. You're playing the wrong game. So, hello, my good friend El Tari. Very good evening. How's everything going in your lands? Lopez. Hello, Lopez. So, I don't talk to the whole nation. It is evening. Good evening. Well, good evening and reets to you all. To you all. Redsons? Redson? I don't know. What is it? Redskin? Good evening and reets to all and reets. I just don't want to yell. I don't want to. Never mind. Right. Ooh. Good evening, Johan. Uthred. That's that name. You're supposed to say thread. Uthred. That's nice. Thank you. Why do I write that? Uthred. there were issues with the plots. There were issues with everything else. Good Name. You know, I was hooked on the Good Name. Good Name. That's oh, look at the nice glow. So, did you hear Coop? I gotta blow out the mule. So I lost a sub. I want to know why. Really? I'm a divisive person. I don't think, Pax Dei doesn't need liberal influence, because liberal influence wants things for nothing. No, I'm not into everybody paying, but if you're someone who's living in a household where your parents are paying, no, you don't have any money. That's right, you don't have any money, and you might be really offended that games would make you pay. They're making you pay for it, right? Even though you don't have money. You don't have any damn money. But they cost money. Now, as a parent, I paid for my children's, entertainment online. Sometimes to an expense, as they, all the news. I want to hear about that SpaceX rocket reaching the moon. It was, sort of an opportunity, right? An opportunity. Now, no introduction music or anything like that today went on. We are past the 12 minutes for anybody still here. I still got to check out Athena's videos because I just don't have any time. I get on right before everything else. I watched maybe a half hour or so of what I believe was her first video, and I saw a bunch of stuff, and I was like, wow, I need to, highlight some of these things because I can no longer show them. And when I said that I wanted to get back and record some of Athena's stuff, I guess she didn't see that as a question. So Athena, I really should have just plainly said, hey, can I have your permission to use, or if you don't want that, that's fine. But no, I hadn't had a chance to go back and view any more. I do wonder about the Round the World, because it's the name Hammer and Silva, right? Just queuing up for a dungeon. Anybody for the 8 o'clock dungeon with Eltari? Be catching you later. Right? Right, dungeon night for that. Now before, I think I was saying before, when I first started my channel, I got 5 subscribers, and it was for 5 subscribers for a long time. Then one left. But I don't know how many of those people ever watched me again, because later I got the idea that only a few did. Now a lot of game reviewers and stuff, they want, you just want to hear about the game. And that's fine. That's fine. You're not going to get that here. Eltari tells you just about the game. Kim B is just about the dungeon. Nasaman, more tactical in the dungeon, just about the dungeon. Pax Dei XM with the gent with the AI videos that are so nice. Just about Pax Dei. I am not. There's no escape from reality, folks. You got to find somewhere to put everything. There's no escape from reality. And I don't escape from reality. That guy Abdul in Minnesota, he was elected by college students, while the person in the Democratic Party, he's not a Democrat, He's an Islamist who that's how they run. They run as socialists. He's an Islamist. A minor doctorate in some medical care. It doesn't really matter. You go to school. That's really cool. He wants to tell you he's a scientist. He's Islam. You don't vote Islam into office. Now, anybody who's like, well, that's it, I'm going to unsubscribe to you because you said that. Good. Really good. Because, man, I want to be as far from anybody who believes that as possible. Because as soon as if you make friends with these folks, and I say that, you know what, you got to get rid of your dog. But no, they don't eat them. That's the other ones. And they don't eat them here. They eat them in their country. There's a Asian comedian. She is funny. You might not think she's funny, but she's funny. Very funny. Am I keeping any bone up here? Speaking of, where'd you get all this stuff, Johan? Were you unpacking a chest? You were moving stuff around. Yeah, getting things to fit, getting things to be in a proper place, to make sense. That's very nice. It makes sense to do that. Me too now. There's my other horns. Get the big screen. Pax Dei. Okay, so you name a game the Peace of God. And then, of course, they go pagan. But their lore wasn't pagan. Or, there's some fallen Redeemer stuff in it. I've ignored it. Because it doesn't matter at all. It matters that it exists. But now, something very funny said that when you see these socialists that are running in our country, someone said you don't hear them quoting Nordic, Scandinavian, Swedish and Finnish socialists, which I didn't think Stubb was a socialist at all. The president of Finland, although Sweden and someone wants to tell me Norway's gone communist. Maybe it's a large faction. Maybe I don't know. Don't live there. But I guess I could look it up. But why? So, hot dang, downstairs. But we have a thing in our country where we don't let them in. They always want in because they like to take the best of what's there and take it for themselves. They start always with the same thing. It's unfair. You have what we don't have. No, they don't. It's all bull. I am a poor man. I do not have any reason to say, oh, they're rich. No, who cares? God gave them money. If you read the Bible and believe it, then you know who got the money. Why do I even bring this up? Well, in Pax Dei, there's people who want it free, and there's people who sneer at those who spend money. And there's those who say, hey, there's people who make space that say, hey, come and join us. But then those people who would take that free space say, oh, you want us to work. Yeah, no, it's called putting into the... Okay, it is across too. Thought more to I was slacking. So you always have this caste thing. Personally, if you let someone with an extreme religion into your zone, like in my clan, I'm not asking anybody to join, so don't feel threatened or excluded. Don't feel excluded. I don't want anybody. Really. Well, other clans won't accept you. I'm not ever going to want in another clan. Ever. I mean, really. Sure, at times I thought, wow, that'd be fun. Eltari said there's very few of them. There's very few of them. Well, I'm just me. I've got 7 accounts. That's kind of weird to join a clan with. Don't you think? Don't you think? Well, I do. If you can't see why, then get 7 accounts and then ask why. I'm serious. I mean, I guess until you put yourself in my shoes, you know, you won't walk right back to me. Now, when it comes to whether I offended somebody or not, ooh, you know, I don't like to offend people. And when people just leave, they unsubscribe. I never knew why they subscribed. Maybe they, thought they were interested in what I was saying. Apparently not. But I am concerned with people's expectations. I do Pax Dei. If everybody has seen my catalog, I had over 1,000 unique viewers. We just looked. Pax Dei has over 8,000 unique players. That's what Play Tracker wants to say. I mean, that's what they want to say. You know, they're not talking about 8,000 players, but 1,000 of them could be the same. I just don't. Hey, if that's what they're doing, well, you know, what can we think about anything, right? What can we think about anything? By the way, someone in Discord was saying if you get rid of the examine button in your binds, it drops the examine option. Some people said huzzah to this. Well, now I figured I'd pass it on. You know, nice crafting, huh? Isn't it nice, the details? Nice. Well, I'm very glad my system can... I put a candle there above the wash barrel to remind me that you could do that. You could that. I saw a candle. Sorry, Creedence Clearwater. Floating on the water. I saw a man walking on the water, coming right at me, right? From the other side, feet began to run. Okay, now, what are we doing here tonight? Nothing. What I really wanted to do was just explain over, what AI thinks the current deal is. It's just, everybody doesn't like AI. What you shouldn't like about AI is something I said before. It reads everything we've said. So that's your major concern about AI. It knows everything we've said, and that's where it goes to for information. I mean, right? So everything we've written about what we think and how cool we think we are and all that stuff. Come here. Did I just... You know, that's what AI is using. When we ask a question about who's the worst person on earth, well, it's going to tell us whoever we say it is. And we have reasonable people. I don't know. A lot of people think there's no reasonable people out there. So when AI says, well, comparing it to this and that, they go, oh, AI is so smart. Well, no. That's just what you do. As a human being, you don't just listen to who agrees with you. You know, you can compare and contrast. You know, you can listen and say, well, you know, should I include those thoughts, or are those thoughts just really, you know, outliers, or, you know, whatever people want to think. Come right at me. Now, I still think there's no point to what I'm doing. I have been told by people in the past, and I just believe that they're not lying. They said, I started Pax Dei because I saw your videos. Well, cool. No, that's great. That's great. I'm sure a lot of people who have seen Eltari's videos have started Pax Dei. This Gent Spectre was saying, I'm watching you, which I was like, yeah, okay, cool. You know, if they want to be like that, that's their thing. I just, you know, kind of took it as, hey, you know, they're being cool. But the last time I got like that was some dude who said, "Hey, I noticed a certain thing, brother." And I was like, "Brother?" I said, "Hey, who is Jesus Christ to you?" And Christ said, "Who is my, brother, sister, mother?" Christ did not mention father at that time. It would be very interesting for us to think of. But he's like, "Who is my brother, sister, mother?" Because there's only one Father of Christ, right? So, and who is our Father, who art in heaven? So this guy was saying brother, and so I asked him. I said, "What are you in Christ?" And I never heard from that person again, and I'm glad, because that's how Satan comes at you. Wow, you're going to be a really lonely person. Thank God. Well, you're in Pax Dei. Don't you want to be social? No, I want you all to pay for it so I can enjoy it. Excuse me? Was there any confusion? I want you all to play Pax Dei so it survives. There are many other soloists that hope you do the same thing. In fact, if 8,000 people are playing, there are 6,000 and more soloists who want you to help support Pax Dei. Because they're not going to... Well, okay, man, if Mainframe makes enough money with what we do... Well, end the recording. I mean, I want to talk to you, but everybody stopped talking to me. I'm at a wrong hour, the wrong time, and, so, well, people are catching my video, but if they're all going to leave, like I said, one's my son, one's a musical artist, one's Willie, and I'll stay on just because Billy's around and checking it out. I pray for his mom. Said she was weak. She was feeling very weak the last time. And I don't want him to feed back. It's not part of my thing. It's just he told me about his mother, and that's, man, for someone to tell you that's something, And so that's how the Lord does it. I definitely was speaking last time. Jesus Christ said a wonderful amount of things. And what Islam does is they say Jesus Christ entered a dude who was already alive. And some Muslim, Islam, Quranic person, because I'm not going to read that book. I don't even care. But this is just what, this is the argument I've heard from very few people. I don't hang out around anybody of any other religion. No, you don't have to either. Spend your life arguing with people. I don't believe in God because I think I'm clever and smart, and I know the Lord did that. Otherwise, I'd be doing other things in life. Really. I wouldn't risk my whole channel talking about that. Nope. But in Pax Dei, I remember jumping on the European server, and there was such a huge Christian... Dude, you think there's abandoned buildings now? There were 4 times as many abandoned buildings, damn near abandoned plots in verse 1 than there is now. Really, there was more people in verse 1 than there is now. Are we clicking out? Got timed out. We shouldn't have timed out, should we have? Now, I've had, because there's no error, right? Now, I've had connection hits. I was waiting for one. In Celine, I had a disconnect. And so that was interesting. No, excuse me. It wasn't Celine. It was Arcadia. Just getting Garrett over to Catnaps, right? It disconnected. And I was just over here in the woods, but in Arcadia. Oh, Johan? Strange business. If you ever want a close-up, just put post there. That's why I put the post there. It's a good place to start, stop. You get a nice view of things. Let's look at that. It's changing to twilight. Has Flo's Place not come in yet? Do I have one on me? That's interesting. Oh, I'm still red. Ooh, that's very long, isn't it? Well, we just logged back in, right? But you can see how the place is across the way. In Flo's place, we're in red. I'm not sinking through things. But if I go to another plot, jog, jog, jog. Next to Noodles, it's Mr. Noodle. But you don't. Hi, Mr. Noodle. Mr. Noodle, can you show us the difference between... Am I going to float? Oh, I'm not floating. That's nice. Of course I can't touch his stuff, but I'm not floating, you see? Oh, I'm not going to bug his place. I try to be very respectful to my neighbor's joints, unless I'm Garantino. Now, one thing I've been seeing about is plots. People are really, man, someone was really thick with it in Discord. Oh, I can't use the plot. Oh, you don't care about long-time users. I'm like, what is this? This is some kind of joke. Did I pick this up for some reason? Oh, I'm 10 for 10 in that. Got it out of a box. That's what I did. I've been moving a lot of stuff around because I'm emptying out the smaller building. Johan's going to be building. I got a lot of wood to go through, but I got to chop some trees. You always got to start by chopping trees. Oh no, he's going to do the boring stuff. Let's tune out. You know, every time you tune in, I can't switch to that, can I? Because it's arrows. Every time you tune in, I'm going to be playing Pax Dei. Now, Eltari, you see, he talks about Pax Dei, but he's typically never playing it, you know, and there's a reason. He did that one Arcadia thing where he was showing off this stuff and the archery set. He looked very uncomfortable. Because, yeah, well, that's some pretty long-haired stuff, right? By the time I notice 12 minutes has gone by, we're at the half-hour mark and beyond. And that's just the way it is. Most people can't pay attention for that long, and I really don't think I, can pack some kind of news hour bit, right? You know, here's the news, article, and then you're like, wow, that was 45 minutes of go get ya Pax Dei. Flash. Things take time in Pax Dei. I mean, I don't even have permission to use my place yet, do I? Now that the sun's coming up, are we green yet? I don't even have permission to use my place. How much time do I have left in these plots? You see, I gotta bring, oh, I forgot who has the plots. But eventually we're close to having Garantino come on and take care, pretty much take over all lands. I've dropped everything. I'm just gonna have 2 grace plots in Arcadia. You know, I'd like to be able to catch up with Billy and Celine, but I don't know if my schedule is allowing that to happen. And so well, it's not much maintaining those plots there, but it's just another place. It's just another place. I'm sure Billy's gone a long way in Celine, and I hadn't heard of him like moving to Sif. When it comes down to it in the end, yeah, 8,000 players. Is that enough to keep mainframe going? I don't know. They don't talk about that. Is there a certain number you need to keep an MMO going? Well, it's good to make money. And there is the idea of time. Yeah, it went up because of that. Ain't it great? You know, they need time. So, you know, they probably prefer to have people spend money and time. Or time and money. Shoot, New World is still going? Man, Eltari mentioned playing it in the past. You know, and he said he plays more than one game. I guess he would know if it's still going. I'd heard reports that they plan to shut it down. Well, it's still 2026, isn't it? And most of them were saying we're shutting down in 2026. We're shutting down sometime. Well, that's quite a thing. Maybe Pax Dei should say we're shutting down in 2027. and then we'll reach, average player 187 hours. And how many players did they have on? Thousands. And I heard they were shutting down. If they're not, don't bother telling me. I even heard Black Desert wasn't supposed to be doing so well, but they're still on. Maybe that's a ploy. Yeah, maybe that's a ploy now, is telling everybody, oh, we're shutting down. Well, I'm not a news reporter. I didn't look up these things, and so it's not a matter of me reporting inaccurate information. The report was out there that they were shutting down. I didn't sit here and go, I said, no, Pax Dei is the last MMO standing. Well, point to the other one. New. I mean, come on. What? Okay, let's compare Pax Dei and WoW. WoW is a cartoon, an eye-crossing cartoon that, whatever, that you just run in parallel play like a bunch of kindergartner babies in diapers, glowing diapers, and you someday get to fly a bird. Well, I flipped that game, The Bird. I played on it for a very long time. They did updates, and it's just like people want here. Expanded territories. We get to walk around somewhere else before anybody else does. That's all they want. That's all they want. We're done. Let's go to the next thing. And then they'll lord it over everybody. We have the bounties here. I wanted bounties in-game for people who are registered for crimes. Now, how do you do that? Well, that becomes part of the program. But you couldn't kill people. We couldn't hurt each other, and we couldn't duel. So there was no bounty thing, unless it was going to be something in Lioness. And so why would you want bounties on people in Lioness? Well, if you go to Lioness with goods, but this is before we had shrines. They didn't do the shrines. There was no more Mornwood. And there was no idea of that yet. Not even a hint, really, except for maybe a scrap of an image, but I think that was even later than the idea. Verse 1, verse 2. Where Lioness was just a Wild West. That's all it was, just an absolute Wild West where people were getting mugged or whatever else for their goods. Well, they came up with rules about it, right? And they stopped the way we perished because we used to lose all our stuff on corpse runs in the home valley. If you weren't here for that, here in the home valley had the same consequences. I don't want that tree. Had the same consequences as the wilds, except the walk was, well, not from the shrine, on your little, of course, your little respawn shrine there. That was just in the area in the wilds. Maybe they increased them. I don't think so. I don't think they increased them at all, since many of them are in design spots on the map. Those places on the map were handmade for those locations. So there you go with that. Last standing MMO. Yeah, I played hours of WoW. But I played co-ops too, that could be MMOs, but MMOs are impossible. WoW doesn't have anything we have, or it just appears in front of you. You have things that float and appear. You don't really use your hands for anything. It's all symbolic, unless you would like to correct me, and no one really does. Because I'm not worth correcting. I'm so wrong. But you don't really see use of hands. You see symbolized use, like watching a My Little Pony cartoon. They're just carrying things around in their blank hooves. Pax Dei is trying to be something different. It's very difficult. As a AAA, it would be incredibly boring. Because it's a co-op. MMO. Simulator. Well, they're getting the parts and pieces. I'm nuts about them going back to their original idea. Not forward, to their original ideas. That's what's important. Those are the things that will stick with them, that they really want. If they can't do it, Well, that's just the way it is. Maybe in the future they will be able to. But these are people who have worked in the gaming industry. And nothing I've heard is something that doesn't exist in some form already. Well, then why isn't it here? They don't want it the way it exists in some form already in a AAA. And the way it exists in a AAA doesn't matter. They would need other MMOs to see. What are you saying? There's other MMOs with mounts and horses and stuff like that. They appear out of your pocket. They're not, they're not integral. They're just a vanity item, a function item. They don't have a life. Okay, Myth of Empires. You'd have to look at that, baby. This place has changed, hasn't it? No, that's that place. This place is... Johan has no money. Founders, Calyx. Calyx. Yeah, good names. People who have really crappy names, it's too bad. It's too bad. So, where are you, kiddos? Well, they didn't leap off. You see? You can have a boar give a warning, but then not come for you because you don't quite... I must have scared it off. This place has been here since the first day I was here. No, I have no idea. I've looked at the name before, but of course time goes by. But they started with the basics. They got up to the nice kitchen implement. That's a cooking hearth. I mean, that's your second one, right? But that's it. Maybe there's somewhere else, you know. I don't know. Well, we could check this much, right? When people don't leave any belongings on, this is just Calyx's place. So, oh, Baker Bows. But okay. I hadn't checked in so long. He's been building the whole place up here. Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, you just have a, Well, I'm glad. Well, because I went for a while, I was like, wow, what a trooper. But when are they going to come back? Darn mosquitoes. We're going to have to... definitely watch. Got it in the dark around here. Why? Because it makes my screen so much nicer to see. Now, when Garadina puts her land down, I'm going to have everybody make a landmark where the properties are. That way, I won't have... I'm not going to get you. Oh, shoot. Isolate's fence. Glad he put that there. No. I don't want to deal with it. Besides, got all this wood. But really, we go on and on daily. I get no input, so I just go on. I'm never going to do Eltari's bit. That's Eltari. Never intended to. I always just live gameplay. No one else really does live gameplay at all, do they? how can I forget his darn name? But he was doing a very long season, a series, a very long series. I'll remember. Kasich? Kind of has a thing with the redhead avatar, like a kind of a, it's just a cartoon gamer. Kismar. What, is Kismar still producing? Some people have taken shots at Pax Dei just to see if their crowd liked it. But like Penny Loafer, really wasn't so hot on her video on Pax Dei, and it's not a critique like, oh no, she didn't like my Pax Dei. Well, no, she said some funny stuff. I mean, really, like, I don't know, the abandoned holy pilgrim and stuff. Yeah, they're okay, yeah, right from the start. But then it's like she didn't break away from this cluelessness and then start to get it. It sounds unintelligent very quickly. Oh, why do they want to portray just a stupid person who doesn't get the obvious? It's like they're speaking for, like Gavin Newsom. He said, oh, I'm dyslexic, I can't read, I'm just like you. Well, what, is he in a crowd full of dyslexic people who would like to admit, well, I know dyslexic people who never complained about reading, but that might be just dealing with dyslexia, but they could read. They managed. And we didn't talk about dyslexia. It only ever came up because I knew them personally. And really, they would comment on it. Not that I ever asked, oh, by the way, do you have dyslexia? No, I didn't. I can't remember suspecting it. Oh, do you meet a lot of people with dyslexia? Two in my life. And like different ends of my life too, you know what I mean? And how many left-handers do you meet? Probably more dyslexic people. I mean, really, I never get over it. Oh, you're left-handed. Oh? Is it still oh? Oh, you're left-handed. Oh, you have 3 legs. Got a cat. Well, it's not going to happen. Well, originally when I started out this channel, it was about, starting a feedback channel. Now, when I saw, Pax Dei XM read commentary and stuff he'd fed back on, those people were all talking into, it was like they're talking into those cans, you got the strings together. It's like, you think you're listening in the can for the message, but you're hearing it all around you. And I always wonder to myself, well, hold it, does that even work? I think I've seen a few experiments that decided, more or less it was not the best idea. But the original, anyway. When they're reading the comments, and he makes the remarks about the person with 4,000 hours. And whatever the remark was, apparently it wasn't special enough for me to remember particularly what it was, for good or bad. But 4,000 hours of love and all that. Well, no, it's probably just the same damn grind they do to every game, except most games just end. What could you have possibly done worthwhile for 4,000 hours in Pax Dei? What could you have done worthwhile for 4,000 hours in Pax Dei? I've been playing with Catnap, and I got 1,100 hours. He's the Lagerta and him are the oldest characters. Mordetwise after that. I don't think I have. Just trying to grind up those characters, you see. Saying, hey, I want to get them all to level 20. So... And I don't think I accomplished anything. I'm not saying, oh yeah, I haven't gone anywhere. So with 4,000 hours, there's people with more. They already want a rich of who's the wealthiest. Who's the wealthiest in Pax Dei? Well, I don't think there is a... Well, I guess Mainframe can look up who has the most gold. But maybe they put it in chests. Huh? Or is it all the most gold and are holding it? Or is it all the gold earned since the first gold they earned, no matter where it went? Whether they spent it, gave it away, because you can give it. You can give gold. Now, I don't know where the numbers the fellow was getting who was suggesting such a list, but they were humble enough to say, well, beyond 2 million, 10,000, 12,000, they thought was in... Well, that was high enough. That was a high enough wealthiest. I mean, I remember playing Empyreon, we had lists like that. Who visited the most planets? I mean, it actually went around them, and galaxies, and how far had you warped? How many, and all sorts of stuff. Money, how many credits was one of them, and I get up to the top 3, but that was a totally different market system. That was an NPC market system where we could play the NPCs for everything they were worth. We could find out, buy high, sell low, buy high, but no, you buy low, sell high. And you find those NPCs that buy something that you can purchase for a higher rate, of course. We don't have that here. We don't have NPCs. So people work the market, and often the people working the market are the same group of large holders, changing the price up and down. If they even do that, some people were saying it was hard to cancel their market orders. Well, there must be a way, and I'll be figuring that out. Why not now? Why don't you do this? Well, I've often thought about it. Pax Dei XM, he's done very few videos in this new, thing of this AI cartoon that he puts together, and they get a couple thousand views or many more, which is really cool. I don't know what I do getting a couple thousand views. I really don't care what a couple thousand people think. That's going to be pretty much the same after a while. There's that MMO veteran that he was highlighting. There's a reason that guy was doing videos, opening the gates and stuff like that. He wants a Pax Dei that doesn't even make sense. He used to write comments on my channel, and I thought, wow, they're describing a game. They don't understand coding, Pax Dei XM, he says, nice work, Mainframe, now do this. That's much more plausible, really, of a desire. But when the MMO veteran there, when he's talking, he very fanciful of how things should be and how people should think and how we should, and he did that in my channel. I didn't know what to say to him, because it's like, well, okay, you can't just reach in the back of people's heads and program them. They're not all going to agree on how to be in Pax Dei. You can't tell me how to be here, I can't tell you. Now, we do know in the real world we have laws and rules, even though they change from state to state. In some states, there was just some guy in some state that I don't even want to know, who was apologizing to all the transsexuals. They're a percentage of a single percent, and they're not Okay, so exactly how do they become a transsexual? By choice or by birth? Give me a fucking break. If you don't know what a male or female is yet, be the next person to leave my subscription. I don't care. My son who doesn't listen to me can be the last one. And that'll be it. That'll be it. Then you'll have done your job. No, you won't. No, you won't. I'll still put these videos out. I had 1 TIG of, and more, just a bit more than 1 TIG of videos on my previous channel. And, you know, someone's just going to report me, and Google's going to delete me again. And then I'll come back. And I'll do it again. Because I don't want to be, you know, I am figuring it out. You know, a lot of people like to be violent, and they like to take advantage of people and fleece them for money and all that stuff. And that surrounds you in Pax Dei. There's a lot of disingenuality. There's a lot of avarice. And there's a lot of genuine people who you can tell are being very cautious. They're being very cautious because they know most people are wicked. And you're always running into that. You're always running into that. You try to treat people well, it's just a matter of time, isn't it? You know, and what? You have 10 friends, 6 will turn out to be people you should not have known. 4 will turn out to be people you should have known. You just don't know out of 10 who they are. If you're just, you know, in a group, right? We're not talking about, you know, people in your church. Ever make 10 friends in a church? How many remain friends? I mean, really, I spent long periods attending church. Oh, of course you have. Well, of course you haven't, if you have to say such a thing. But not for a long time now. And none of those people I met back then, they didn't grow up into people I knew or anything like that. Well, lives change, lives go by. Well, right. But people hold Christians to a higher standard than they hold themselves, don't they? And I'm just telling you the truth. Like the people you met in high school, unless you stayed in the same town, how many do you still know? And who cares? Who cares? How many people do you even want, you know, man, I know people now that have known me since I was very young. I can't escape who I am, even if I wanted to, which I don't. I don't have a problem with who I am. That might bewilder you. Yeah, I don't have a problem at all. 37 Heartwood. And that's why I like Pax Dei. Now, who else likes Pax Dei? People like me? No, not at all. In fact, all sorts of different people. You know, it's good to have people like me in Pax Dei. I was just cutting it down for fun. I want to get more resin. That's the deal. I'm just making a note to myself. I get more resin. I'm not seeing any resin. Oh, okay, forget it. Okay, I'll pick that up in a minute. But I can see more resin with a stone hatchet. Anyway. Well, I think an hour's good enough. I've yapped my head off. If I lose another subscriber for it, I'm just proving something to myself. I enjoy life without Johan. That's right. There you go, Johan. Pax Dei is enough for me. If I see in-game, cool. If Spectre's out there lurking around, maybe he's one of the subscribers who left. I don't know. They don't speak to me in-game. One thing, you know, I was waiting for something. Maybe it was Morty or someone else where I friended a person. And I hadn't seen this person before. I thought they were a new person. I might have said cheers. And they friended me, but I never heard from them again. So I'm going to have to dump them. Some people just keep track of when you're online. And you don't know why. So, yeah, that happens. Ain't it great? I mean, really. If you're one of those utopic types who are hoping you found your utopia, no, Pax Dei is actually going to be kind of raw and on the spear tip when it comes to social. Wait till we have sieges. Wait till we have alliances. Wait till we actually exclude people. I mean, you can't exclude me because I'm a soloist. I'm promoting the social aspects. you can see, as inept as I am, I still enjoy Pax Dei. But I really, I say hi to people to be polite. I say good morning to be polite because I don't mind people. I just don't see much advantage in actually talking to them. It usually goes wrong. So, I just leave it as that. Pax Dei is a great MMO. Whether you are into being a socialist, whether you need someone there, you need them there. Unless someone's there, entertaining you or leading you or being your mommy or daddy. Pax Dei has that too. We have big mommies and daddies. They have huge spreads. Find them. They want people to live off their land. They want people to use what they provided. That's what they like. There's lots of people like that. I am not. Personally, I like my thing, and I don't want anybody coming in and touching it. Hey, but for anything you placed in the last 36 hours can't be destroyed by a new person, which I find. Okay, what about things so they can destroy stuff made 37 hours or excuse me, placed 37 hours before, or what exactly is going on? Because if they say, hey, you put a homesteader on, if you put down these kilns within the last 36 hours, they cannot destroy these kilns. All right, these kilns have been here for a couple of weeks, so does that mean they can destroy them? I don't know. I guess I'm going to come on as homesteader, as obligado, and go around and try to whack stuff, because if he can destroy things, maybe I should. I'm gonna leave. Okay, I'm gonna destroy stuff just to prove I can, and there are things that I'll put down. I'll get it organized. I've got to do it for myself. I'll record it, and YouTube can delete it someday. If I catch you, Billy, great. If I catch you, Athena, great. I'm sorry I don't. It's just the times that I need to record in order to record. Maybe I should go back to 7, but we'll see with the kids in school and everything else. So that's it. It's still going, and I'm proving what I said. As long as it's just you and me, here we are. Promoting Pax Dei. I'll tell you, it's hard not being popular. I could give a fuck. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord bless you. And if you're stacking coals on your head and I don't know, man. If you're working for the devil, I couldn't cry. But, and those in Jesus Christ, remember that you were a sinner. Remember that you were a sinner pulled from your grave. No, I wasn't. I was a perfectly wonderful person who accepted Jesus because I think that's my natural state of mind. Wow. Never mind. I like what Trump said to this guy. I never want to hear you talk again. If anybody ever said that. But I've heard it all. Not here with Pax Dei as a game. And what I used to do. I used to say a lot of things, and people used to say a lot of things back. That was my job. So, in Pax Dei, this is that social environment. Oh, we're all supposed to walk around pretending. Bullshit. We're supposed to spend years pretending and fantasizing with each other. Bullshit. How about we're just real damn people who enjoy a game, enjoy its rules, and stop being a bunch of fairies. Really. Pax Dei is a dying woke game. Now that you know that maybe 8,000 people are playing it, you get to watch it fall from that. Not 800. Not 800. 8,000. Now you get to watch it fall from 8,000. So I'm glad all of you who now understand that Pax Dei nearly made it. Well, I knew that. All you had to do was ask AI and really, just check out the stats. You know, I go with what people can see right in front of them to promote you need to figure this game out. You know, you need to get on it. But yeah, no, the whole time there's been just creeping up under 10,000. Haven't I said this game needs 10,000 people? So that's what we're talking about. What El Tari's been saying, he wants 10,000 subscribers. That's what we're talking about. That would be just, well, depressing, really. A depressing achievement. But, you know, who cares? We just want more suckers to pay for the game. Really. You know, more people like me who say, wow, I want to play this. It looks beautiful. And it's too bad I'm paying for it. You know, Athena, I believe, or was it Billy, said their father was paying for it. Or Athena said her mom won't let her play, or won't let her go on Discord. I saw Billy on Discord once. But if you're two young folks, you know, who live with your mother and father, you're just young, you're like my son's age, check him out. You know, it ought to be obvious which one he is. In my well, actually, can you see my subscribers? Well, I'm not going to dox my boy. But he'll be around. But he's just about to turn 18. And in October. But he knows what this is all about. You know, we've just had a terrible situation with our family in the liberal side of socialism, communism, and their agenda is still having a good time with my family, and we're getting through that fight. You know, thanks for voting for Biden. You know, bunch of idiots. Really, stop doing that shit. Or stop voting. Really, that'd be better. It's like, I love it. The Democrat, your only chance in Minnesota to have a Democrat just got replaced by an Islamist. Oh, no, he's a socialist. Oh, no, whatever. He's a scientist, too. Right? Whatever. Check it out, dude. Check out what the guy does for a hobby. Check out his speaking arrangements at crazy imams. I like when imams go into prison and recruit pedophiles. We pay them $55,000 a year to go around to our prisons and recruit pedophiles into Islam, because Islam does not have a problem with pedophiles. This isn't Pax Day at all. I unsubscribe. It is Pax Day. It is Pax Day. Someday we're going to be having wars with each other. And if you're a heretic and your mind is full of heresy and you're a toxic individual who beleaguers the Holy Spirit, better build walls. Oh, let's go, Johan. May the Lord bless you. And Lord bless you. Your time's limited. I told you.